Hi everyone, my name is Sabrina Crawford and thank you so much for coming to my YouTube channel. This is just an introductory video where I tell you a little bit more about me and what this vlog is for. So again, my name is Sabrina and I'm an aspiring middle school English language arts teacher, and I'm currently getting my master's degree in middle school English and teaching English as a second language. So I've had a lot of people ask me if I've always wanted to be a teacher, and I always hesitate when I get this or when I answer this question, because when I was younger, yes, I really wanted to be a teacher. I would try to teach my grandparents or my parents what I learned in school and would have them sit down and listen to me, and I would do my homework with them, and all the while teaching them how to do it. And so I did, I had that strong teaching desire. And I always enjoyed English in school, especially writing. I enjoyed reading a lot, but I really would just get lost in writing my own poems and books, and my books were really awful in that age. And so then I kind of thought maybe I wanted to teach English. But then I got to high school and I started reading a lot more classic literature, and I'm not one of those people who say, oh, we should get rid of all of the classics, but I am a very strong advocate for young adult literature in the classroom. And then I just stopped enjoying reading, and I didn't want to read anymore. I started SparkNotesing all of my homework, and I'm sorry to my teachers if you're watching this. I would just look up summaries or open up the book and I would just read a few sentences so I could talk in class. If I had to do a paper, I found a good method where I would choose a chapter and then I would really just break apart that chapter, and I would pretend that it really resonated with me, but then I went home and I didn't think anything else about that book. And so then I decided I didn't want to be a teacher, and I didn't really want to do anything with English, and I wasn't even going to go to school. So I graduated high school early, and I was working 2 jobs, and I was kind of on the fence. I thought maybe I should go to college, but then I decided maybe I would just do community college, and I'm not hating on anyone who goes to community college, because now I wish I had gone back and did all of my general education classes and then transferred to university. But instead, I was just trying to appease my family and make sure that they knew, yeah, okay, I'd go to school. Anyways, I decided to apply to Appalachian State University a week before the deadlines. I also completed my FAFSA a week before the deadlines, just because it was a cheaper university, and I had a lot of customers at the store I worked at, and they went to Appalachian State and they loved it. And I don't really know what prompted me to decide to apply to school, but thankfully, and a few months later, I received a welcome package in the mail saying that I was accepted into Appalachian State University. So then I felt like I really just had to choose something. So I chose English Literary Studies, and with that major I had to have a minor, and I just decided to minor in teaching English as a second language. And so throughout school, and I simply just chose English because it was something I was always good at. I wasn't necessarily passionate about reading a whole bunch of literature and tearing it apart, and I wasn't one of those people who got just all excited whenever I was reading certain pieces. I did when I was reading, of course, books for fun, but remember, that was kind of beaten out of me. Anyways, so I went throughout school, I did some general education classes, and I started getting to my major classes, and I enjoyed a lot of them. I had excellent professors who really made me want to read literature again. One of my teachers, we were going through Southern literature, and that was one of my favorite classes, and we were reading different slave narratives and poems and watching horrible movies that are really racist. And I'm not saying I enjoyed it for that reason, but I enjoyed actually reading it and thinking, is that really what everyone was thinking about when they were writing these horribly racist novels and books? But then I remember reading some of the slave narratives and thinking just how powerful their words were and their stories, and how these writers were making a difference and they are activists, um, and I was so sad to read what they were going through, which I'm sure everyone is. But I just remember thinking, wow, whenever people write, they can really make a difference, and they can use their voice, and so that kind of sparked a little bit of interest in English for me again, just that class. My teacher was also excellent. Then I started doing my minor classes, teaching English as a second language, and I got to work with a lot of students and adults because I was working and volunteering with some adults. And I remember there were a lot of people who were complaining about middle schoolers and high schoolers. No one really wanted to work with either of them, especially middle schoolers. And that really bothered me because middle school was a really tough time for me. Without trying to give away too much of my information, my parents got a divorce when I was in 6th grade, and I went to live with my dad, but he was in the military, and he moved a lot, and abroad, and to different places in the United States, and to know that I was going to be living with him meant I would be away from my mom and my sister, and then on top of that, he remarried, and there were all kinds of family strains and issues, but then I'm also changing, my body's changing, my friend groups are constantly changing because I'm a highly mobile student, and I'm also trying to figure out who I am, and which I still am doing. But that time I remember there was the first time I felt like I had enough freedom to try out different interests and to explore different topics and read different kinds of books and etc. But I still didn't have enough freedom to go out and do things on my own, or the funds. Couldn't drive, couldn't really do anything. And I remember caring a lot about what people thought of me, which I still do, something I struggle with. And as I reflect on these middle school years, I don't remember having a really strong professor. I mean, there were a few that I know they really cared about me and they wanted to take the time to get to know me more, but I just remember having that. And especially with my English classes. And for me, writing and reading is such a powerful way for someone to learn a little bit more about themselves, about the world around them, about social issues, and writing is just an excellent way to talk about the things that write about the things that you are going through and try to process them and organize your thoughts. But it also is free. You don't have to care about who reads them or worry about that or what the paper is thinking of you. Maybe you have to worry about what you think about yourself after. So anyways, long story short, after really hearing all of the negativity surrounding young people, I decided, a little too late because by that time I was graduating in a semester, that I wanted to be a teacher. That, again, I went back, wanted to be a teacher, I wanted to be an English teacher, which was funny because just before I had this realization, I had applied to several jobs for business and marketing and advertisement and had several interviews. Some of them were really promising. I really thought that I was going to get a job. And instead, I am now getting my master's degree in middle school English language arts. And anyways, so as I said earlier, now that you know a little bit more about me and why I'm doing what I'm doing, I am going to make a vlog. And this vlog is going to center on a few things. First, it's basically books that have made me really excited to read, to research more, to want to make a difference, or books that I have just read and I felt very strongly about them. Some of them are books that I would love to teach in a classroom. Maybe not a middle school classroom because I'm reading some that I think would be excellent for high school classrooms. But this vlog is also for reluctant readers. I was a reluctant reader after middle school, or after high school. And I think that it took me reading some of these books, or hearing about them, or reading books of similar nature, to make me really enjoy reading again. So, I am going to be reviewing popular young adult novels. Remember when I said I was a strong supporter? And I am going to share the book, the title, major themes, conflicts, important ideas. I am going to try really hard. I think the first few books, there's no way for me to not spoil the ending, but I'll try to give spoiler alerts before you actually read them. And I will try to give ideas about, or suggestions. I'm not really going to get into a full teaching lesson plan whenever I post these videos, simply because I think that each teacher may have their different style, or I want to bring it in, but I will say why I think it's important for students in your classrooms to read some of these books. But I think it's mostly just these novels that I have read, and that are really popular because most of them have won YALSA awards and are very popular right now in the young adult fiction world. But they're mostly, again, just for reluctant readers and reasons why I think they're important and why they should be read. So I hope you find this vlog useful. Again, I'm writing recording specifically with the audience in mind, reasons why I think it's important for teachers to include books like this in their classroom, and reasons why for reluctant readers, why I think you would enjoy this book. They are young adult books, mostly for middle school or high schoolers, and I think that they're important. I think they're interesting. You may not agree with me, and there may be times where I read a book and I don't necessarily think it's interesting, or but it could be of interest to someone else, because I'm also going to try to include a wide variety of books. Well, some of them may be graphic novels, some of them may be sports fiction, some of them may be diverse cultures, so maybe poetry books, or short story books. So not all of those things are of interest to me. But if they are well written and they can impact the lives of some of your students and people in your classroom, or students, if you enjoy these things and you enjoy these themes or this type of writing, these may be the books for you, and they're really well known and they're popular, and they should be extremely well written and used in classrooms, in my opinion. So thank you so much for watching this long introduction, and I will see you soon. My first book that I'm going to go over is The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. Thank you again.